The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Over 25 years ago, on September 29th, 1998, we watched a brainy girl with curly hair drop everything to follow a guy she only kind of knew all the way to college. And so began Felicity. My name is Juliette Littman, and I'm a Felicity superfan. Join me, Amanda Foreman, who you may know better as Megan, the roommate, and Greg Grunberg, who you may also know as Sean Blunberg, as the three of us revisit our favorite moments from the show and talk to the people who helped shape it. Listen to Dear Felicity on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'll tell you what, we're a little dusty this morning.
Last night was the last final night of the comedy festival,
And
some shenanigans occurred.
this co-host of the RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under the Covers with Chris and Eli Matthewson, actually took out the Fred Award, Best Award of the Best Show of the International Comedy Festival. Huge congratulations.
Thank you so much.
My best duty.
And as I accepted the award, all I could think was, tomorrow morning I want to get up pretty early and kind of recap Drag Race.
Because we actually love to just kick off a Monday morning with a Drag Race recap. But here we are, and we're doing this because why? I mean, I guess it's a duty, it's a service.
Yeah,
and it's the conversation to be having.
It is. It's all anyone's talking about right now.
And I have noticed that. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Like,
everywhere I go, people are like,
let's talk. You know, and it takes
Art's
a while.
back. What is that?
It always takes a while, you know, because sometimes I would say I've fallen off the Drag Race chat, you know, in terms of like US series. Like for a long time, we're talking season 8, 9, 10. It was like every day, chat. And then I sort of cooled it a bit. Didn't really talk about Drag Race all the time. But I guess it being a local show,
Bring people we know in the mix.
you'll just be at a bar, you'll just be having a cocktail, and someone will just come up to you actually, and they'll just actually ask, what are your hot takes on Drag Race Down Under the Covers? And I'll say, actually, we've got a podcast if you want to listen to those. You can actually subscribe
And
to
so we
my
give them our
hot
card.
takes. And it is chic to have a card for a podcast.
Yeah.
And don't say it's outdated. It is
Not outdated.
It is very current. It is of the time.
And it's very helpful if you're at a cafe and you want to enter their competition sometimes, because it's like in the little bowl, and then maybe the staff of the cafe will listen to the podcast.
So let's actually, if there's one takeaway, it is to bring back the business cards.
Bring back my cards.
business cards. Okay, so welcome to Drag Race Under the Covers, the podcast with Chris and Eli, the male gaze with no co-host, because, spoiler alert, we'll get into that. Did I cover that all?
I think so. I think that's everything. This is the real pod.
You're a reigning queen right now, so I feel like I'm picking up a bit of, I want to kind of hold you, support you, uplift you.
I've got big Simone energy today.
So, another amazing episode.
What did
We're here to recap, so I don't know how we get into this. We could go through the episode and then big thoughts, hot takes.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about the biggest thing, which is we saw it in the teaser last week, and I think we all knew what was about to happen.
Yes. I'm going to say...
bursting out of a pile of trash. Art bursting out of a pile of the trash
So
is
Art
my...
Simon is back in the competition. It's one of the first things we learned from the episode. And what are your feelings on
And
this?
there's no real justification.
No, I think those are my issues as well.
They could have engineered it that the three came back and they had to compete, and then they got... Because I feel like they just wanted Art back.
There's one obvious thing about this show, which is not being... you could say it's not being talked about, but it is, in fact, being discussed quite loudly. It is the race issue on RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under.
Wild.
It is very obvious, and we never really have this many white queens.
I read that it was the first ever all-white top 7, and then they made it an all-white top 8.
And I think with that, bringing back just another white queen.
Yeah.
Art is so talented. And we looked at her in the laptop, and we said to her, we want you back, baby.
Yes, we did.
You're very talented. You got the look. So we've got our own receipts.
But I think we wanted her back in a later season.
No, well, I think, like, the way you could have gone about that is bring them all back and vie for a place because they all deserved a second chance.
Yeah, and then we would have got to see more of JoJo, who was iconic.
Yeah, she had more to show.
Yeah.
We had more to see of Coco, and we have more to see of art. Like, if she got eliminated, they've all been eliminated fair and square.
Yes.
So it's kind of crazy to just be like, oh, well, you kind of got the more money and the looks than anyone else, so we'll just bring you back.
And also, wow, because she tanked a challenge where everyone tanked. Like, she was the bottom of the bottom. It wasn't like everyone did well and someone had to go. It was like, she bombed, man.
It's like, art will bring good reality TV. Art will bring great runway looks and a good sort of great drag experience.
Polish.
We
got the polish.
But I don't know if that's what this season is about.
I know, I want it to be a little bit grungy and a little bit like...
It's a little all over the place. And I'm like, let's harness that.
Yeah, make the most. That's what Down Under to me is.
I'm calling it the Electra shock
season.
It's the shock effect.
You know who I was thinking about this, and I was thinking who should win Drag Race Down Under season 2 and who should be on it, and who should have been on this season is Queen Kong. Do you know Queen Kong?
Yes.
Oh my God.
An amazing queen.
An amazing queen.
And seeing her live, just like, again, she can get her legs and she can just shove them in her ears and jump and land on the stage. So it is a makeover challenge, sewing challenge.
So, not a makeover challenge at all.
Well,
they always have to make over themselves.
And they're actually making over some junk. So it is a sewing challenge, design challenge.
Junk from the op shop. Do you think this came from local op shops or do you think this came from Look Sharp?
It 100% came from Look Sharp. And I would have loved to have seen it come from an actual op shop.
I know. I would have loved to see... Is there not a challenge in early Drag Race? All Stars 1, they're in a skip.
Yeah.
I would love to see them go to K Road or Save Mar and just like...
It's a frustrating thing to see, a big pile of plastic that we did not actually need.
And will go in the sea.
In our oceans. But yet again, they will be there.
Scarlett Adams' coral reef outfit.
It's got ketamine.
Bobbing along the ocean. Ketamine's balls.
It's like, you're like, oh God. And actually, the issues with this design this design challenge that we see, like in some of the critiques later on the line, which we will discuss, I think are a direct impact of what was in there to begin with.
Yeah.
Like if there were actual like secondhand shirts and bed sheets and valances and
oh my God, valances. Everyone gets a valance.
I mean, also iconic drag name, but
valance. Beautiful.
That, there could have been some actual...
To call it op shop when it was so clearly was not op shop.
Yeah. There could have been some sewing. There could have been some actual construction. Some fashion moments, but it's kind of all like... I guess I understand why it's junk, because it means you can have like a clear ball look, a clear kind of like curtain look, a bag look. You've got some obvious things, but anyway, it was just like a bit disappointing to see a lot of like Look Sharp plastic in there.
How much do you think it truly is like everyone just grabs and takes?
It looks like it is that.
Yeah.
Because I think Electra, it looks like just grabbed everything and was like...
Favorite moment of the episode? Electra's panties.
Oh, yeah. So let's get into this. So the whole episode is centered in the workroom.
Yeah.
Which I think is kudos to the story producers in this sense.
They've really got to go in.
There's no like, we'll make them learn a dance and that can be 15 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
Or like an acting challenge that goes on for the rest of your life. Just watching drag queens act.
Yeah,
You're like,
with Taika Waititi on Zoom.
No, it is like, it is drama, it is reality TV, it is drag queens bullying other drag queens.
Yes.
And we are apparently here for that. So there's a lot of tension in the workroom, right? It's like there's a lot of shade and it's all being thrown towards Electra Shock. And I'm going to say, and you would know this, being a Fred Award winner, one of the kind of golden rules of comedy is not to punch down.
Oh, absolutely.
And so there's a lot of shade being thrown towards Electra Shock, who's been in the bottom every week.
Yeah.
And has shown that she's an amazing performer, can lip sync the house down, can, do all the tricks and send anyone home. She is, without a doubt, a lip sync assassin.
Yeah. People are being a little smug.
But she is always in the bottom. She clearly has no cash.
Yeah.
She's new to drag. She is what we would call, in terms of a punching order, if you are coming for Electra Shock, you are in a sense punching down. And I know like it's drag, you should all come for each other, like it's hierarchy, whatever, but I'm just like, it feels cruel.
It feels mean.
I'm like, if you're intimidated by her, then come for her because she's better than you.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, I hate your taste and you clearly have no money, I'm like, you're just bullying
Leave
her.
alone.
So I don't know. I just felt a little mean.
I hated when Electra was like, I've danced with these people and listed all the amazing celebrities she's worked with, and then they were being so smug and snarky and rolling their eyes, and I was like, respect it. She's done amazing things.
And she's single-handedly
Created
a story of the show.
She's the whole story of the goddamn
So
show.
you should be thankful in hindsight that she's here because she's creating story for you.
She is. Oh my god. And she's got a bit of heart, which I'm not getting a lot of heart from some of these queens.
No, they're mean.
Okay, should we talk about the looks?
Well, I was going to say there's a couple of
yes.
other moments in the workroom that's kind of that is fun to me, and one is Ru coming in and having her one-on-one interviews with the queens and asking Scarlett if you could give any, knowing the tension between the two of them,
yes,
asking asking Scarlett if you could give any advice to Electra, what would it be? It's like Ru woke up and just chose chaos.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've seen a maneuver like that from Ru.
It was just brutal.
It was like, it's kind of like every child's nightmare. Like they're being bullied at school, and then suddenly the teacher's like, and what does the bully reckon about the nerd in the class? Like it was just crazy.
Also, I feel like in the olden days, Ru used to go around and everyone's kind of busy working while Ru chatted to everyone. And now it's like Ru has a chat and the whole room sits and watches.
I know,
It's so full on.
and has a good old listen.
Yeah.
So I just felt like it was just, and then again it gives Scarlett another moment to sort of come for Electra. But it's interesting because I feel like we're seeing in Electra now was like empowered delusion.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. Like she knows she's like, but it's very Kiwi. It's like she knows she's like barely keeping her head above the water, but she's like, I'm going to go out screaming.
She's just doubling down. Her ripping apart those teddy bears.
And I'm going to say it.
So good.
I think the kangaroo look would have worked.
I think it would have worked as well.
I like the tie dress, but I think the kangaroo look would have worked. And I think Ru doesn't understand the rivalry between Australia and New Zealand. Because I was like, that's clever.
They think
that's
we're
funny.
all one country.
100%. Australasia.
Australasia.
Which we'll get into some critique. Oh, no, this is more. I've got more critique on this. Perfect.
Okay.
Because Karen from finance chooses to make a sewing look to dress like Chappelle Corby. And Ru doesn't know who Chappelle Corby is. Now, my feeling is, if you're going to come into New Zealand, I mean, and this is a show that supports Drag Race. We love Drag Race.
Yes.
You know, we stand our fracking queen.
Yeah.
But if you're going to come into New Zealand, Australia to film a Drag Race show, you have to expect that the queens are going to have local references.
Yes.
And you can't be surprised if they don't have local references.
And surely someone's...
And be like, is that a good idea? I'm like,
yes.
That's what drag queens do.
Everyone at home is screaming, yes, we know who Chappelle Corby is.
They comment on culture.
Yeah.
They're kind of like mouthpieces for culture in a way. Like, and we want that from our queens. Like, we want to see them hit local references. It's fun. That's what we were desiring and craving from Snatch Game, and we kind of sort of got, but didn't really get.
And that's what we were so excited about when this show came here.
Do I think Karen should have done the look?
Of course not.
But should Ru have known who Chappelle Corby is? 100%
And for
yes.
someone who, in so many other seasons, is really picky about people when they don't know certain specific references, I'm like, surely that's someone's job. Surely there's a producer there who can be like,
just like
okay,
print it out
this.
and be like, listen, someone's going to do this, and this. And just so you know. / it's TV. If they don't know, pause. Ru, come here. Let me show you what happened. The gays love her.
Do a quick slideshow on Chappelle.
Yes. But you can guarantee that
Shout out
it's going
to Shay Mountain, who danced with Chappelle on the latest season of Dancing with the Stars, All Stars. She was a wild card. She wasn't a previous contestant in Australia, but they brought her in for All Stars.
God, you've got all the reality goss.
Well, because you also danced with my flatmate Laura, so I'm all over it.
Look, let's have a break. Throw to some sponsors / an ad for the spin-off, and then we will come back and recap the runway and the judges' critique. And we'll be joined in studio by the eliminated queen. That's right, joined in studio, which unfortunately means it's a New Zealand queen who went home.
Kia ora, Justin Giovanetti here, and I'm the political editor at The Spinoff. This podcast, like so much of the work we do at The Spinoff, is made possible by the support of our members. To find out more about The Spinoff members and how you can help us keep producing quality, independent journalism, visit members.thespinoff.co.nz and do it today.
Okay, welcome to the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race. Down under the covers with Chris and Eli.
With the first guest judge on the panel, Kaz from Rudangi. Awesome.
Amazing.
See, because here, Ru shouted out Rudangi. He clearly had that explained to him. Could not have someone have also explained to him.
I love Ru's critique of the show being like, it is funny and powerful. I love it. It was so good.
So good.
Has there been a gun held to her head?
Hasn't seen it.
It is witty and powerful. I
love it.
I love it. It was so good. And Ru's wearing this kind of amazing... I actually quite like the look. I don't like the leg...
The big sleeves, yeah.
I don't like the leg sleeves.
I did see someone tweet RuPaul as Subway. Because they're green and yellow.
I know, but I was like, it's clearly like a sort of Australian-inspired look.
Yes,
maybe.
Yes, it is.
And it sort of still, for me, continues the theory that Ru doesn't know where she is.
No, absolutely not.
So we get to see the runways, which is fun because it's a construction challenge, which is great because it's like, this is drag at its core, sometimes. Well, it's kind of changing now because the sort of, as Drag Race has influenced drag.
But this used to be the first challenge all the time.
Yeah,
and
this is like
that.
how every queen starts, making their own looks. No money, no designers. What can they put together?
Yeah.
Highs and lows?
Highs for me. Well, Maxi Shield number one for me.
Maxi Shield
so good.
number
the
one.
styling,
Our
everything so
queen.
powerful.
I adore her.
It rocked.
We're big stands of Maxi, but to kind of see her, and it was fucking fashion.
It was fierce,
It was
man.
so fashionable. She looked incredible.
Her
the
booty.
wig choice, the makeup choice, the fact that those things are hard to make. And it was like Vivienne Westwood, but then it was also kind of like, had this kind of like Moschino vibe because it was kind of campy fun, and it was just like the whole...
And she looked so happy in it. Usually Chris chokes to death.
I'm crying. No, but it was so nice to see, and also to see someone who I think would probably classify themselves as like maybe a comedy queen. Just come out full fashion. Looked so good.
And also the fact that she had the sewing lessons beforehand and kind of like learned to make that.
Yes.
And then made it.
I was like, come on. It was a triumph.
It was so good.
But the winner goes to Scarlett Adams for this kind of like picnic look made out of a picnic thing. It's little shorts.
Gingham thing.
I'm just going to say it. Underwhelmed. Like, it was clean. It was neat.
Yeah.
But I just thought Maxi delivered something.
I thought Maxi should have won.
So well-rounded. Like, it had impact. Whereas I was like, because it was funny, like the et cetera, critique. Because they create this look that's sort of, it's kind of a purple sort of 1920s thing that is clearly a reference for her, but not really.
Well, I think I kind of knew, I was like, I can kind of imagine the images that she's talking about, but she should have a specific image. And not wafty paintings of women in the 1920s. She's kind of like, maybe? I feel like she didn't really know the reference she was going for.
And the critique is like, sort of like, they don't really know how to kind of go like, I think what they were just trying to say is it's a little bit boring.
Yeah.
But it was so beautifully constructed. It was so gorgeous. It looked great on her. So like, obviously a good look.
Yeah.
And like a clear kind of winner. But they're just like, we don't like it. Like was kind of what they were saying, which is really interesting.
It was interesting that Keita beat her out.
Yeah.
But I thought Keita's look was really fun.
Well,
it was
that's
cool.
the
And
thing.
she sold the shit out of it.
And that's the kind of tension between those two looks. Because I feel like, yes, et cetera, made a look that you could probably sell to someone. Like, it's a proper look. It's made out of material. It's sewn together. And Keita's is like cable tied some balls together. But Keita's look is like draggy and fun and has impact. Whereas, again, I think et cetera's look, the judges just kind of found it boring.
Also,
but they didn't know how to critique that.
For this challenge, we want to see what it's made from.
Yes.
We want to see the materials that it's made
which
from.
is why I think they go for junk rather than op shop stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like waiting every moment for the eliminated queen. So let's quickly talk about her before.
Oh my gosh.
So in the bottom, we learn that
it's Anita and Karen. Here's the thing. Everyone did well except for Karen. For me.
That's it.
I think so. And it's cursed that Anita ended up where she did.
And I think Anita is only in the bottom because they have seen that book look before.
I know.
But
they've seen Marie Antoinette before.
Exactly.
So many times.
And I'm like, don't put a book
Yes.
in the bin. If you don't want Queen to make a book, I know. I was just like gay screaming. It's just like, I can't. I was like, of course she's going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great, you're looking for material. Everyone's snatching stuff. You've thrown 4 books in there.
Yeah.
They're going to make a dress out of pages. And it looked great.
It looked good.
It was cohesive. It didn't look like it was falling apart. She lip-synced in it.
The makeup matched it.
The makeup, it was...
I wish she'd maybe just gone for the videotapes.
Yes.
That was what I thought.
Yes.
Even if you'd done the tape and then crunched up little plastic
We'll be able to
bits
find out soon, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're right. Everyone gives a great look, or a good look, except from Karen, who I think's look was a disaster. It was
top to bottom disaster.
It was a weird idea, and it wasn't well executed.
And she didn't look like Siobhan Corby.
No.
She looked like Dora the Explorer. I can't remember who said that, but she did.
Yes. It was
a weird backpack look.
The actor from Rurangi.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, far out.
So our bottom 2 queens, Karen and Anita, and they're going to have to lip sync to their life. It's a Danny Minogue song. I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it, but I got to say, I got into it. Every day is a daydream. Da, 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 da. And also a bit of a throwback, because nowadays on the American Drag Race, it's like all the hits every week.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like throwback to the early seasons where it would be like some obscure 80s or 90s songs that only Ru knows.
The Australian fans are screaming.
Yeah,
that's our favourite.
sorry.
That's our national anthem. There's a great moment as well where Karen's attitude going into the lip sync is kind of interesting, would you say?
It is, yeah.
So there's a kind of dab, and then there's like a party noise edited into it. It's kind of a really weird, surreal moment, which doesn't feel like it fits in with the tone of the show.
It doesn't feel like it's a hit with the judges.
No, but the queens kind of love it.
Yeah.
But for me, it kind of reads like, I don't even care.
Yeah,
in a weird
feel
way.
that way as well. There's something weird happened here where it's like, if you had just came into the show fresh, I don't think you would understand why they'd want to keep Karen. Like, in my mind, it feels like who people are outside of the show is really affecting the storyline.
Yes. Because you've brought back Art Simone, who went out just on failing a challenge.
Yeah.
Like being bad at a challenge and not doing a great lip sync comparatively, and then going home.
Yeah.
And then
you've been like, Karen, you're so strong, but you've just dropped this week. But she bombed Snatch Game and she did a bad rap last week. I'm like,
yeah, it's
in
hard
the context of the show. I'm like, it's not like
she's not a front runner.
No,
by no means, comparatively to the winner of Snatch Game.
Yes, one of the best Snatch Game performances ever. And so it is heartbreaking in that sense to see Anita go home, and it feels slightly unfair, especially when you think the loser of Snatch Game has been brought back for no reason, but because she's talented, and the winner of Snatch Game is going home in an episode because she stumbled a bit, but still created a cohesive look. But she won the week where everyone else didn't do well.
Yeah,
everyone didn't do well,
and it just feels surreal.
It is, yeah.
But the good thing is, we'll be able to dig into this deeper because we've
got Anita
joining us in studio, the eliminated queen from this current episode of current episode. Oh my God, my brain. We are very honoured and a little starstruck.
Unbelievable. And also, she's in drag.
She's full
with
drag.
us in drag.
The one and only, the wickedly talented Anita Wigl'it.
Oh, you stop it, but keep going.
It's a delight, it's an honour, and it's also a little sad to have you in here today.
Thank you.
I can't believe we've got you here so soon. I literally was so angry when I I had to go for a little walk.
I think everyone sort of processed that.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, eliminated queen for this week. How are you feeling, Anita?
You know, when it happened, I was sort of put on a brave face on camera, but then afterwards, it's like, oh, why am I crying?
When did the penny drop?
Yeah.
Well, the penny dropped when I saw my outfit in the mirror. No, it was weird because I was part really proud of myself and part really disappointed because I thought after episode 3 I was technically on the leaderboard.
You were the top queen.
Top queen.
You were front runner.
Which was so beyond my wildest dreams. So, but you know, I think in many ways everything happens for a reason, and fingers crossed for all stars.
Yes.
But I feel that it's not how you do in the competition, but what you do while you're there. And so in many ways, I was so proud of what I achieved. So.
You look at your run on the show, and it's like the dream. It's the dream run.
Dream run.
Like basically Miss Congeniality. Like, everyone loves you.
Everyone's saying
You
it.
win Snatch Game. You
the
make
best
Rue
challenge.
laugh. You are amazing in the confessionals, and then you go home and everyone's like, no! Like, it's like you couldn't really ask for a better run.
And that doesn't even include the things I did with the pit crew. Oh, thank you so much. It was such a crazy wild ride. Just the best experience.
Can you take us through the time when you found out that this was happening and all the audition, everything?
For sure. So
Please.
the audition was interesting because so Keita and I had that little TV show, TV Inside On Demand of House of Drag.
House of Drag, available to watch.
The cheap, shitty version of RuPaul's. Who were kidding? But so we did that with Warner Brothers, and the producer Amanda Payne was our producer, and so she's the producer of Drag Race too. So she kind of got the know and sent us a message and said, "Hey, RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under is coming. Would you like to audition?" And of course it did. So it was actually. So I thought it was going to be a really intense audition, have to do circus tricks and stuff. But basically, I just had to juggle the balls. It was fun. But all we had was basically a Zoom interview. Where they asked us questions, we had to answer them, and then these all got sent to America and Australia and to Rue, and they got chosen. And when I got the call, it was sort of the most surreal thing in the world. It's like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
Is RuPaul even going to be there? That was what Twitter's saying at the moment.
Oh my gosh. When the rumours came out, I couldn't believe that Rue was coming. And also, yes, I love what's going on now that Rue was on a green screen.
I know,
Yeah.
which he absolutely was. No,
And so you find out, your drag partner, Keita's also on the show, and also Electra, one of your employees, but
Yes.
also a contestant of House of Drag is all there. And, I can imagine there's a lot of pressure from, the producers and stuff to they want to probably tear you apart on the show. And how was that to kind of go through that with those queens?
It was so on the top of our minds all the time.
Yes.
And we thought, it would make such good television to have a lip sync between Keita and Anita. I think
Yes.
everybody was expecting it. It was so crazy because Keita and I, we've worked together in comedy and with our shows for years now, and it's always sort of been Keita and Anita, so to be separate was really strange.
Yes.
But it was also a really good opportunity to show the world that I am actually better than Keita. So it was like, how does it feel that Keita's done better than you? Like, has she? She's doing so well, so proud of her.
It's I guess that's the power of what I loved about the show and seeing you on the show, because I have seen you as Keita and Anita for a long time, and I love you as a duo, and then to kind of see you on just in your own context and to see what you can do and be like, oh my God, I'm such an Anita stan. I was always a Keita and Anita stan, but just to know that who you are in your own light. It was just my
thank you
favorite
so
thing
much.
about watching you on the show.
Thank you.
That's just a compliment, not a question.
I appreciate
So
it. Oh,
nice.
please keep them coming. I love it.
And I feel like we got to see so many shades of you because we saw you obviously kill it at comedy. And then in that very same episode, we saw that glam C look.
Yes.
Are there any other, how were you disappointed to not show all of your looks?
I was so disappointed. But, I got to use some of them later on. So it's good. I was like, if I paid them, I'm going to use them.
Yes.
But, it was... there were a couple of outfits that I really wanted to wear afterwards. I was super excited for. But I got to wear some of the ones I really wanted, the sheep and the...
The sheep.
Oh, I've never had so many DMs before from Kiwi farmers. It's been amazing.
How did you come up with the sheep? Was that always what you were going to go to for hometown, or did you think of a few different
Absolutely.
things?
I thought, for hometown, I was thinking, there's nothing more iconically New Zealand than the sheep and Russell Crowe. So I decided the sheep was just had to happen. And luckily I had Kerry, who is an amazing designer from Karen Walker. And so I just contacted him, and he just got my vision completely. And it was so much fun.
It's so fun, so camp and fashion at the same
Thank
time.
Because what was the turnaround time for prep for you?
I think we had about 7 or 8 weeks.
It's not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time.
People don't understand that, right? It takes a while to conceive a look and kind of think about it and create it. And you're doing every look. Do you feel the pressure for it to be the top of its game?
Absolutely, and because that it's going to be judged by Rue, Michelle, and Reese, and it's just got to be sort of perfect.
And it's interesting because you think about it now. It's if you just had a list of looks, I guess you knew you sort of had to prep.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh well, that can be that one. That, and you might be like, oh, I'll just let that one slide or whatever.
You got to think about it all at once.
But
and you
then
have no
when it
idea.
plays out episode by episode, it's you are then suddenly wearing that
I
look,
know.
and then you're being read on that look alone.
So And it's funny, for example, my Bogan one for the Bogan prom, that was a bit a last minute one because my costume designer pulled out of that one. It was a bit, I had this amazing idea for it. It was going to be a short denim dress that I would spin around and it would reveal into a long leopard print gown.
Wow.
Which is, I don't know how it works, but apparently it does. And then when that fell through, I was like, oh no. So I had this dress when I was at the Broken Heel Festival when we had the big shield, for sure from the movie. And I thought, this one will work. Then I kind of created the story of like a girl going to prom after fixing a car, but it was a bit stressful. But it is, you kind of have like your weakest outfit, but you still got to wear it at some point.
I actually loved your Bogan look. I loved it. I loved it. Went all the way to the floor. It was so good.
Thank you.
With Snatch Game, obviously, which I think is what people are going to remember you for. Did you always know you were going to do Queen Elizabeth, or did you have a few ideas?
Queen Elizabeth was definitely who I wanted to do. I was so geared up to do her. I just thought because you know when you see Snatch Game and sometimes they do characters, now who is that? Which will be like a couple of seasons' time, they'll be doing Anita Wigl'it and they're like, who? Already World of Wonder, they've announced me as et cetera on their Instagram.
Oh, no.
They've forgotten me already. But I really wanted to do the Queen because everyone knows her and she's got so much backstory. So everybody, I think, knows about Prince Andrew. And so she was definitely my first choice. But I had the other character I was thinking was Danny LaRue, who's an old 1960s drag queen from England. But super glad I got to do old Lizzie.
So nice.
An incredible Snatch Game performance. Thank you. So do you have a history in like theatre and stuff like back in the day? Or that? I always feel like I'm like, I think we've got a bit of an Amdram queen in there. You can always just tell because they're good at Snatch. They're always good at like creating a story for the looks, great imagination. Tell me, what's your... When did you get into drag? Like, what started it all?
Well, I got into drag actually working at the Civic Theatre, and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the musical came in 2008, which I loved. Yes. First time I'd ever seen drag. Oh, well, technically I'd seen Courtney act on, what was that one?
Australian Idol.
But
she was the wild card.
She's not really a drag queen. She is. Very pretty lady. So I saw Priscilla, loved it, and I was inspired to have a Priscilla-themed 21st. And so I did my first drag shows, contacted Family Bar, and the rest, as they say, is history. And a mistake.
Wow, incredible. Okay, so you go.
Oh, you're also working on your first solo show, right?
I am, which is so stressful. I should probably start it out.
No, we can tell you from experience. You started the week before.
You started.
Good. Okay, I'm doing it right. So what I thought is now sort of my opportunity to try all these new things. So I'm doing Anita Wigl'it, The Life of a Funny Girl. And it's going to be a story about my life and the stupid things I got up to, seeing a vagina for the first and only time, good old classics.
But that's the thing, right? Because drag is like, while I think the majority of people consume it on television, it's best taken live, right?
Sure. It's always best taken live.
And so, like, what's your experience been performing live since the show's been out?
Yeah, so I've been super lucky to...
Because you're a girl who performs every weekend.
Oh my God. And you've been hopping over on the planes over to make the most of the bubble.
If there's money, I'll do it. Probably why prostitution business has gone through the roof. I now get paid. But it's been so crazy. So I was just in Adelaide on Friday doing a show at Mary's Poppin', which is just so crazy to get to do that sort of stuff. And sort of the people are actually coming in droves now, which is great.
This is amazing. This is what you'd hope the show would have, right?
That's what it's all about.
To make our drag queens stars, because they are. But it just like opens you up to this whole new world of people like, actually I want to go out and see some local queens.
So fortunate. And it's nice not to have to beg my friends to buy tickets now.
What's it like getting, I can imagine one of the most surreal experiences would be getting tooted and booted by Raja and Raven on Fashion Photo Review. What's your experience been like watching that?
So stressful. You're just like, oh, please, mate, they like me. But it's just been so crazy. And to have sort of Raven and Raja even just saying your name. And there's a Manila and Latrice podcast as well.
Yes.
Which is crazy to sort of hear them talk. And then you see them, somebody's following you on Instagram. You're like, oh my gosh. And Danny Minogue sends you a message. You're like, oh, what is life? It is just so surreal and crazy. You think, what world little old me is getting all of this attention?
The right world. You deserve this attention. I love how RuPaul says your name as well. He's like, Anita Wigl'it.
so nice,
What was... you obviously would have been a fan of Drag Race. You would have watched it a lot. And so what was your experience being on set? And were you kind of surprised by any parts of the experience? Or were you like, this is not how I thought it went out?
For sure. I think, so when you watch Drag Race, I think it's when you watch any TV show, you don't appreciate how much goes into it. It's just like, oh, yeah, so they just filmed this. They're sitting on a couch and they're just having a chat. But really, it was just so intense how the days and weeks would go. And how busy, for example, Snatch Game was the biggest mind explosion for me because I thought Ru would ask a question and then everyone would cut. We have a 5 minutes, a coffee break to think of our answer and then go back to it. And we had like literally 5 seconds to think of an answer. It was just like, as soon as you finish scrolling, so actually my dry ass pussy joke, I kind of was like, I'd written an answer that I was thinking about it. I had to sneakily cross it out and rewrite it when Ru was talking to someone else. Like, I need some more time. I'm too old for this.
Yeah. I think because we talked to Reese after he shot that and it was like, he said it was like 40 minutes, the whole Snatch Game that was filmed.
Ridiculous. And it was so stressful.
That's cool though.
So it's fast.
So fast. It's fast.
But then you're in drag all day.
All day, basically.
And like, how much time are you spending in that workroom with the other queens? And what's it like kind of getting to work with those other queens? And did you know all of them? Because you've worked in Australia a lot.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time in the workroom just hanging out and getting all that sort of B-roll stuff. And that was probably the highlight for me in many ways because I knew a lot of the Australian queens, but I hadn't met some of them. Like I hadn't met Maxi before, Scarlett. I wish I hadn't met Electra. So I'm kidding. So it was so nice getting to meet them, and they're all like every single contestant on that show is so amazing, and they all so deserve to be there. It was just such an amazing experience.
Because they talk about like sisterhood, right? Like you know, like we are all sisters. And does it? I mean, when you see them, like you're like, clearly they all have bonded. But when you watch it, you're like, it happens every year. But did you feel it?
Oh, for sure. And honestly,
you are sisters, love that.
We are sisters. With Keto and Electra, we've worked together for a long time, actually. And so that was lovely. But then, yeah, it's something about doing drag. I think it's because not only in the world do you generally, I can't say generally identify as gay doing drag. Oh, it's my teeth, honestly. I can't get worse now. Thanks for being British. So it's because we've identified as being gay mostly. That's one thing, but then also kind of dabbling in drag as like another subspecies. And so I think that we bond from all being able to identify and being on a similar journey.
And then I guess you are thrown into a reality TV show, which is such a specific experience, and that brings you closer together because I guess you have people talking to you every day about your feelings and how, you know, and kind of pushing you to feel something beyond what maybe we want to feel because they're trying to make TV that forms this bond. And so you're all going on tour together, is that right?
In September and October, RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under live. So I think we're doing 4 cities in Australia and Auckland and Wellington.
Spark Arena, right?
It was just like, who are we selling me up?
Are we going to see Dry Ass Pussy perform?
You certainly will.
Yeah.
It's a given.
It's a given.
Amazing. The shaping
House
is extreme.
down. It's going to be great.
So are you from Levin? Is that was your hometown?
No, Lee.
Lee.
Like,
North of Oh, yes. Oh, my boyfriend's family live close to Lee. Lovely.
Are they classy Matakana bitches?
No, they're Capra Flats, rural cows, sheep.
Oh,
that fun.
Good for a milking.
Yes, exactly.
So many nipple options.
Have you done drag back in Lee?
I've never. So actually, Lee was a little bit of a cop out because so I knew it was hometown, and I wanted to be a sheep, and then I was like, how am I going to make this work? So I was actually grew up in Tagapuna. When I was there, it was more Tagapunani, and then I moved to Grey Lynn. So I was like, oh, there's going to be no bloody sheep there. So Cornwall Park. So my parents actually left Tagapuna and they moved to Lee, and they built a house on an old sheep farm. And so we go, that's kind of our family home, so we go there for Christmas. And I thought, oh, well, that's surely a connection. So so I just claimed it as my own.
That's good. You should do that iconic Takapuna tower.
I should, the Sentinel.
The Sentinel.
Or just some shirtless dude at the beach playing a Yui boom loudly.
If I'd have been the Sentinel, I could just put my head back and my nose would be the spike on top.
I was very surprised that, because episode 1, it kicks off and it feels like the drama's going to be Kalutsi, their lecturer's boss. Were they trying to push you that way, and did you kind of resist that?
100%.
For sure. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's no secrets as reality TV.
Yeah.
And of course, it'll be boring, I think, if we all kind of were just like, oh, everyone's so nice. It's probably why I got eliminated because I was too friendly. But for sure, they wanted to. I think it's a great storyline about the bosses and their one of their slaves. But she honestly, Electra is so amazing. Even though we're bosses at Khaleesi, we never really feel like it because Electra she choreographed a later season, and it's all very collaborative.
Cool.
So it was a nice angle.
What is your take on Electra in the competition?
She's really central in the show.
She is so central, isn't she?
Yeah.
So I think it was great because she got sort of a victim edit almost to start, I think.
Yes.
Which, and to be fair, she was. I think people look down on her because, well, let's face it, her costumes weren't as good as others. Her makeup is developing.
Go on.
I'm trying to put a nice spin on it.
You can say whatever you like.
Well, she's looking sensational now. It's amazing what happens when a makeup artist does your face. Electra is so talented.
Yeah,
She's
she
such a
is.
good dancer, such a good actor as well, which I think is...
You employed her. Like, you can clearly see the talent.
For a reason, for sure. And I think that she was very much an underdog, which she's never been under anyone on her life. So now she's claiming her top abilities. And she's also very... She comes from an old school dancing background.
Yes.
So I think being a dance teacher as well, she can say what she likes and what she doesn't like. And so it's making great TV. I love watching episode 4.
Because you don't know how it's going to be edited and turn out and where the story lies. And I guess you don't really know where things go. I mean, was there a part of you that, like, because everyone wants to see their own funeral, you know? But was there a part of you that loved watching, like, Keita
bawling
sobbing?
her eyes out?
Oh, so wonderful. It's like, I just wanted to check a tear duct still work. It's good. I saw her cry. I was like, oh, what a puff. No, it was so nice. And it was so lovely to feel the love we're leaving.
Yeah.
And how... it was so nice, so kind of affirming to know that people liked you and they kind of connected with you. It's always nice to kind of hear that feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it's
nice.
brilliant. It's
This episode, the Foul Materials episode, how did you feel going into the challenge? Did you know it was going to be a bump in the road, or were you feeling confident?
Well, I knew it was going to be a bit turbulent because sewing. I mean, I do sew a little bit. Only very simple things, but.
you're too rich and successful to sew.
You've got Electra to sew for. Yeah.
You've got a designer from Karen Walker.
So it was funny going into the challenge because I was actually I knew it wasn't really one of my skills, but I was also really excited for it because I love creating things, and it was a challenge, and it was going to be an interesting experience and see if I can not be in the bottom for a sewing challenge because I mean I wasn't in the bottom for a dancing challenge, and after my lip sync, you can definitely tell I can't dance. It was fun going in, and then he pulled out the dumpster, and I had a sort of sinking feeling because because I think making something out of trash is always going to be a bit iffy. So I was thinking, of all the things to make things out of this, and we had no material as well. It was just whatever was in there. So I managed to get a nightie and a picnic blanket to try and use as material. So it was what it was.
Here's my theory, right? The book was great, and I felt like they only critiqued you unfairly because they've seen the book before. But my feeling is, don't put the book in there then.
Yes, exactly. You don't want to see what you've already seen. Don't put the stuff in there.
It's bait, you know?
It is such bait. And
you had a media theme.
Exactly.
I love that. I was
Very
like,
media
no
studies.
one is reading this like year 11, like English essay read on this book. I was like, it's media themed. I was like, go off.
I was trying to claim anything, really.
It's like she's burning, it's media, the media's burning.
Actually, it wasn't edited in, but when I was making it, I kind of switched my ideas a little bit because somebody said it looked like the Nazi book burnings.
Oh my God.
That's pretty intense.
Very dark. I can see why they cut it.
That's why I had to make it real. So, and then it sort of looked like a book's on fire.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it had a concept and you sold it, and that's why I was like, but as Eli said, and I agree, everyone did a great job.
Everyone did pretty good.
Apart from Karen.
Apart from
Oh,
Karen.
yeah, poor Karen.
She's a lovely queen, but
That was
just
a mistake.
not a good look.
It was pretty trashy.
The lip sync. Did you know that Danny Minogue song before it got given to you?
Never heard it, to be honest.
No.
I'm so sorry. I love Danny Minogue, but and
It was
also-
quite catchy though.
It was so catchy. I begin to wonder. Not as catchy as Mayo Gay.
Thank you. Huge shout
That's
out.
going to be a lip sync.
Plug.
That's the finale lip sync.
Oh, I hope so. I would be into that. But for me, I do comedy shows usually, so a pop song is not really what I do. So it was. There were a couple of moments to make it comedic, but I think it's also in the edit and. Because we learned we did about a 2.5 minute version, but obviously it was cut down to about 25 seconds. So, which makes you wonder, like, why did we had about 24 hours to learn all those words and they all got cut?
What is the vibe in the room during the lip sync? Like, how loud is the music? Because you can always sometimes hear the queen screaming in the background. I'm like, is it like, because it's nothing worse than performing to quiet music.
A Yui boom. It was actually great. So the way it works is we get announced as the bottom two, and then they cut. Then they take our microphones. So Karen and I, we got our microphones taken off, and that's when we start panicking. And then all the other girls they have their mics on in the back. And
my
then
gosh.
Because if you had your microphone on, it would be like, Saba, Saba, Saba.
That would be so cruel.
that would be a great outtake.
I'd love that, yeah.
But so all the other queens have got their mics out, and then they crank the music, and then we go like action, and Bru goes, "It's time to lip sync for your life." And they're like, "Oh no!" And then
What does it feel like? But what does it feel like?
Oh, sheer panic.
Yeah.
But it was funny. This one though. I was panicked. I knew when I was in the bottom two, I thought, oh, damn. It's like, I'm so nervous. But when they took the microphone off, I had a sudden feeling of calm because, and I knew, it's going to sound really stupid, but I knew that I'd be going home. And it wasn't that I gave up, but it was that I kind of realized that I'd sort of had my moment. I'd had sort of Snatch Game, and I was really happy with what I'd done, and that Karen is such a big name and that she's got so much more to show. And I thought, this is her time to kind of to do this, and I thought, she's gonna be, and so I just had fun with it.
Well, I think what all of the audience learnt from that show was that, in fact, you have so much more to show. In that
Yeah.
show. You really do.
You had your moment, but you deserve so many
wanna
more moments.
I want to see everything that you've got, and I can't wait to, I guess, follow your Instagram and see the
You're
looks.
talking OnlyFans.
And subscribe to your OnlyFans.
Yeah, with my features, it's not a good idea. But thank you. Yes, I so much more to show, but I'm excited to keep doing that, and hopefully I feel like I manifested all stars in the future.
I love by just saying it.
By saying it.
I know. And got a good old laugh from Ru on the
Yeah,
exit.
I know,
It's like a genuine laugh. Sometimes she's like, but she's like, get out. Whereas she enjoyed it.
Oh, she's was so nice.
Okay, well, what's next? What's next for Anita Wigl'it? And what's the goal? And what's the dream? And what's the vision?
Well, actually, I haven't signed the contract yet, but it looks like I'm going to the UK in January for a tour.
Okay.
12 cities, which would be crazy.
Incredible.
And also going back maybe for couple of other times next year to the UK. But in the interim, I've got my solo show, which I'm doing in June in Auckland. August is Wellington and Christchurch some point in the future.
Okay,
So
great.
they've added an extra show, I saw.
I had an extra show.
Clean,
Very
yes.
cool. So one of them sold out already, which
Get
is
another
nice.
Karen Walker look.
Fingers crossed. And then, so actually, I really want to get into. I think there's a whole variety. I was going to basically say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And so I think. If I can do anything more like TV, I think I'll be really good on Celebrity Treasure Island. Just going to put it out there.
Oh, I'd love
you
to see
would
on that.
Yes, same.
I don't think your drag would survive.
I'm most excited for not eating for a while to lose some of this weight I've been gaining after COVID. But I think I also want to get into some more comedy stuff as well, because I think now I've realised that I always did comedy at Khaleesi and Drag Wars and all those shows, but I've never actually done sort of a proper comedy show. So my solo show is sort of like that.
Stay off our turf.
Yeah, I know, sorry. I just saw Eli get one gumboot, and I'm like, damn, we need to get another one.
I got a second gumboot.
Incredible. Well, where can people I mean, they're already following you, but just say it anyway. Where can people follow you to keep following your journey, watching the star rise?
Oh, please, they can find me on Instagram. That's probably the one I'm using most, Anita Wigl'it. Or I'm now on Twitter, which is quite fun. I must say, there's some lovely pictures on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. They allow porn on there.
They do.
Twitter is Twitter's the new Tumblr.
It is a porn website.
After becoming like a C-grade celebrity, the nudes that people send you are quite
Wow,
exciting. I
really?
was talking before I got my first butthole picture.
Wow.
Which, honestly, if you've seen a cat's bumhole, you've seen them all, basically.
Really?
Quite
There's not
nicely
much
manicured.
variation.
No, amazing to just go straight for the butt in terms of a selfie.
know.
Incredible confidence.
I know.
Powerful.
And are you on TikTok or anything like that? Have you made the plunge?
TikTok, but I'm not really using. I haven't quite figured
Girl,
out how
get
to
into
use
it. That
yet.
algorithm.
The
it'll set
algorithm
you
is
flying.
good. You'll get the views. You'll get the views, honey.
I've been enjoying TikTok. I mean, it's basically softcore pornography, basically. The amount of bulges on that.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah, the sweatpants should be illegal.
Have you seen the one where they take their undies off?
No, what?
Oh, that's what they play a song and it's a guy wearing shorts and then he'll like take his undies off, keeping his shorts on, and then like flaps it around a bit.
I can see what your algorithm is doing. And they're like, we know what Anita wants.
Honestly, I mean, I'm willing to show you them. I've got quite a nice bunch saved to my library.
Oh my god.
Well, an honour to have you in studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
A star.
Can't
an
wait to see your
icon.
show.
We will
love
forever
you.
be saying no longer Anita and Keita, but just Anita Wigl'it
Wigl'it.
on her own, a star in her own right. Thank you so much for coming
And thank
in.
you so much for having me. It's been nothing but a pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening to the Real Pod Drag Race Down Under the Covers with Chris and Eli. Please subscribe and pop a review up there if you like it.
A nice review.
Yeah.
We want to thank Anita for obviously joining us in studio. Jonathan, our producer. We want to thank... Who else do we want to
Jane
thank?
and everyone at the
Jane and
spin-off.
everyone at the spin-off. I actually want to thank you, Eli, for coming in and making it this morning because, I mean, you are a award winner. You didn't have to be here.
I am hungover.
But you're contractually obliged
Yes,
to be
I
here.
am.
And I got you a cup of coffee. So actually, I want to thank myself for doing
You're
that.
a hero.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Bernard Hickey, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in partnership with KiwiBet.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I kōrero with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
The Spin-off Podcast Network.